Hello, my name is Jorge Acevedo, and I'm the lead pastor at Grace Church. We're a multi-site United Methodist church down in Southwest Florida, and I'm just so grateful and honored to be here. Let me tell you a little bit about our church. Grace Church is a church that grew out of one campus that I was appointed to by my bishop 13 years ago. A wonderful church filled with wonderful people that had just kind of lost their way. And I've been here for 13 years, and in that 13 years, we've grown from about 400 in worship to over 2,600, from one campus to three campuses, from two services to about 10 weekly services. And three of those are Celebrate Recovery. The rest of those are Sunday morning services. And it's an exciting place to be. I learned from a Southern Baptist preacher a prayer. It was a simple prayer. And it went something like this: Lord, send us to people that nobody else wants. It was a prayer that I'd heard him pray, and it sounded good, it sounded spiritual, and it kind of stuck inside of me. When I arrived at this church in 1996, what I realized real quickly is that as a first-time lead pastor, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. They didn't teach me how to turn around an existing church in seminary, and so I was really had to depend on God. And I just really began to pray that prayer with real earnest. And I said, Lord, would you send to us the people that nobody else wants and nobody else sees? Now, our community is very blue-collar. It's a really blue-collar community. The average income right around the original campus where I am today is about $40,000 a household. If you go to our community center, which is a half a mile away, it drops down to about $35,000 to $38,000 a household there for a family of four. So the people in our church are very hardworking blue-collar people. And with them came a lot of the issues that are a part of the working class. Lots of addictions, lots of divorce, lots of ugly kind of things. And when I began to pray this prayer, Lord, send us to people that nobody else wants, they started to show up. And what I realized real quickly is that we did not have the safe places, spaces, people, and processes to help people get well, to grow in their relationship with Jesus, in their discipleship, in what we Wesleyans call sanctification. We just didn't have it. And so what I did is, after praying and talking to some of our leaders, we decided to do Celebrate Recovery. I bought the box set from Zondervan and just kind of followed it A to Z. God raised up a leader. And so we've been doing that now for 10 years. And in the 10 years, that ministry has really exploded. It's grown from 12 people to where now at our three Celebrate Recovery services, 2 on Friday and 1 on Tuesday, we minister to over 600 people every week in just that ministry alone. Then when you add the other recovery ministries that we do, it grows to 800 to 1,000 people a week that we're able to help. What I discovered is, as I've been in the middle of all of this, is that pastors and churches and church leaders can become guilty of what I have come to coin spiritual malpractice. And here's what spiritual malpractice is. It's offering Jesus, the healer, without offering places, spaces, people, and processes for people to heal. So we declare in our pulpit, in our teaching, in our Bible studies, children, youth, and adults, that Jesus can change your life. And then they come to church and they know that it's true, something's going on inside of them, but they don't have the places, spaces, people, and processes to grow in all of that, particularly those that are addicted. And so Celebrate Recovery seemed to fit hand in glove to the people that we were reaching, the needs that they were bringing to our church, and they began to grow, and we began to see life change. What it did is it gave us a new metric around our church. Like a lot of us, I was taught that it was all about nickels and noses, how much, how many, and how often. How many people we can cram into our services, how much they give, and how often they come. And what we've done, while those metrics are still important to us, what we've done is we've added to it a new metric. And that new metric is, are we lowering the crime rate in our city? Is what we're doing helping thieves to quit stealing, addicts to quit using, buying, and selling drugs, prostitutes to quit abusing their bodies and selling themselves on the streets? Are we helping lower the crime rate? And what we've discovered, again, now with 10 years at this deal, that we really have been able to do that. That if our church went away, the crime rate would go back up. Because God, by His grace, by His sovereign grace, has chosen to use what we're doing to help transform the lives of people, and it's bone deep. The life change is bone deep. Now, at about 7 or 8 years into doing this recovery ministry, what started being impressed upon me is that we were doing a good job at helping clean up the insides of people. Their inside life was getting in order, and the Holy Spirit was transforming them, and Jesus was changing them from the inside out, as that praise chorus says. But then, because of the residual of years of brokenness, of addictions, the outside didn't match the inside. They didn't have a GED. They didn't have a job. They didn't have appropriate medical care and those kinds of deals. So at about my 10th year anniversary here, our church took a big, bold, hairy, audacious goal, step for God. And we bought a grocery store, 8.5 acres, 57,000 square feet. And we've opened the Grace Community Center, our third campus. And there it houses our GED ministry. It houses a thrift store where we give away clothing as well as sell clothing. It houses a medical ministry. It houses all kinds of sports and dance for the community, particularly for children and students. And it's become a center to help heal the outside to match the inside. And what I've discovered as a good Methodist is that really I was just going back to our roots. That for John Wesley, he taught that there is no holiness but social holiness. And that he taught that personal piety and social holiness, that they work together, that really is the full gospel. And that the Bible was crystal clear. That any church worth its weight in salt has a heart and a ministry for and with the poor. And so we're trying to figure it all out. We got lots of gaps in our ministry. We owe a ton of money on this building, but we're figuring some things out as we go. And the evidence that it's working is just the number of people who are being transformed. I'll give you one example. This past Saturday, we did what we call our third Saturday event. It's kind of where we blow the doors open and we really invite the community. And we gave away 2.5 tons of food, 1,000 articles of clothing to about 600 of our neighbors. Had a medical thing going on, 67 haircuts. It was a great, great day. You know, dozens and dozens of volunteers are involved in there. It was a really exciting place. But there was one woman there by the name of Sharon. And Sharon was there. We bring our prayer warriors, our evangelists there on the scene. And Patty, one of our staff, was talking to Sharon, asked her about her relationship with Jesus. And Sharon gave her life to Christ right there in the community center while she was getting bags of food for her family. The cool thing was she was sitting behind me in church on Sunday. And before I got up to preach, one of our other pastors introduced her as a brand new Christian who was reached for Jesus because of our Grace Community Center. Now, you know, it was that kind of stuff that keeps me going. That helps me stay in the game for another week. And so what I really want to encourage you in, my brothers and sisters, is I want to encourage you to ask yourself the question, is my church guilty of spiritual malpractice? I mean, do we preach that Jesus can transform your life? And that's true, and we should. But then not offer the places, the spaces, and the people for folk to get well. And then once folks are beginning to get well, are we trying to create some healthy, God-honoring ways for the outside to match the inside? I think that's the task, the goal, if you will, of every follower of Jesus and every God-honoring church. So I hope this helps you. I'm again really honored and humbled to be asked to share just a few things. Thanks. God bless you. Have a great day.